Tonight on the 58, doing some cosmetic work. The rest of the chassis has been all cleaned up and it's getting primed and painted with a self-etching primer in the Eastwood chassis black. Not a frame-off quality job, but plenty good enough for me. Is that the chassis black there?
Yeah.
That goes on shiny, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's got a matte out, but...
Yeah, well it's going to look like this.
Going on the glass, I just retouched up this so it wasn't a line on the
Yeah. Nice.
Actually, look at this. It's reacting funny. See that?
Yeah.
It's bubbling. It's not bubbling anywhere else.
That's weird. Must have been some contaminants on there. Maybe it's that tar stuff, that undercoating he had on there.
No, it's covering everywhere else.
I'm not worried about it. Once it hardens, we'll hit it again. Sand that area. So that while that's being done, we got the motor back and assembled the lawn block. So I just finished scuffing up all the surfaces and taping it off. The engine shop actually hit it with a coat of the same red engine paint it had on it before, which was nice of them, but that's not the color we're going with. It's a 1965 Galaxy 390 4-barrel originally. Got the casting numbers off the block and did some research. Research popped up 427, a 1965 427 initially, the casting numbers, but it's not cross-bolted main, so it's not a 427. And then the article that I saw said some 390s had that casting number that year as well. So we're going to paint it the Ford gloss black that they used, I believe, up until 65, and then 66 they went to the Ford corporate blue. So we'll get this all sprayed up. I've got a I'm going to use the gun on this one instead of a spray bomb. So we've got the black paint. It's going to have a hardener and a reducer mixed in. I believe it's 4-1 and 1. So it's a single stage application. So we'll get that loaded up in the gun and get spraying. Get it all sprayed up. Come on, gun. Stay. The engine is now officially correct 1965 Ford black. Get two good coats after one light scratch coat on there. Paint applied really nice, the gun. No drips. Nice and even. Nice sheen. So we'll let this dry up a bit. Unmask it. And set it aside till tomorrow. Next up is the rear end housing. Today we're able to cut the perches off the top side of the axle. And the axles are pretty butchered. Well, the housing is pretty butchered with the heat from the last weld. But it's just cosmetic. We have the perches welded to the bottom of the housing now. So let's clean this up, some degreaser, and get a coat of paint on this when we have the gun out. Well, that's enough for tonight. I'm going to call it on any more work. It's getting late. Got quite a bit done on the 58 tonight. Got the engine painted. And just to see how it looked with the black paint, I did throw a few accessories on it. Nothing's bolted down, but you got the Edelbrock Performer RPM manifold. It came that way with the satin black finish. And the Powered by Ford valve covers and the Gonna have the 390 sticker on the air filter when it's done. So tomorrow we'll get the intake bolted on. There's a dowel sticking up out of the front of the engine block, and there's no relief in the intake for that dowel, so I can't bolt it down yet. It's not sitting flush on the block. So we'll get that either removed or ground off tomorrow. But I'm happy with the engine. I like the black paint. It is period correct. And we got the engine rebuilder. Put some brass core plugs in it for us. So that's getting there. Got the differential housing after we swapped the purchase today. Got all the grime and goo off of it and cleaned it up. I sprayed it with the same color I used the engine. I had some left in this the spray gun. So we'll get that reinstalled tomorrow. Still waiting for my traction lock carrier for the third member. That should be here in a couple days. But at least we'll get this housing bolted in the car and get the shocks in and get it all ready to go. So that was a good job done. I didn't expect to get that much done tonight. We have the cross member for the transmission, all painted up, ready to go. So next would be finishing the engine, getting it bolted in place, and sort through the pile of the rest of the engine accessories. Make sure we have everything we need, like water temperature sending unit, and get an oil pressure unit with the new oil pressure gauge. So we'll get the transmission painted up. I'll get the bell housing painted up. I have a new water pump that is a modern water pump, I think. I don't think it has this big extension on the front though. There's a long shaft coming out of the water pump there. It pushed the cooling fan right up against the stock radiator because this car did not have a shroud on it. So I'll have to see what the new water pump looks like. I might need a spacer to push the fan up closer to the radiator, or I might have to see if I can get a shroud for the aluminum radiator, because if it's any more than a couple inches away, the fan's any more than a couple inches from the radiator, it's not going to cool properly. So we have a bit of work to go. The drive shaft, I haven't done anything with it yet. I'm going to wait till the car's all together, since we dropped the ride height of the rear way down. It's scary low with the differential moved above the springs. We mocked it up today, put some weight in the car, and those tires are going to be right up inside the wheel wells. So I don't know if these 14-inch 60 series are going to fit back on the car. I might have to throw some temporary tires on there until we decide what to do with wheels and tires. But a lot done tonight. It's coming a long way. The headers are coming. They're being built right now, I think in Washington State, FPA. And they're going to be shorty headers. And from what I've read, they're about the only headers out there that fit these engines correctly with the older Ford frames, the narrow frames. And they're going to be ceramic coated, but not high polished. They're going to be a like a cast iron look gray. So that will, I think that'll look pretty good in there. So that's enough for tonight. And next time, hopefully, we'll have a video of this engine in the car. Thank you for watching.